The Taliban might have taken over Kabul, the airport and most of the country, but one province still remains out of their reach in Afghanistan. It is the Panjshir Valley. Fresh clashes between the Taliban and the National Resistance Front have broken out in parts of Panjshir province. Local sources say clashes have also broken out in the Jawal Saraj district of the Parwan province, Kwak Panjshir and Andab districts of the Baghlan province, and no casualties have been reported yet. And getting us more details on this live from Kabul is our correspondent Anas Malik. Anas, what can you tell us about the situation on ground right now?
Well, it's day 4 of the renewed offensive that the Taliban have launched on the province of Panjshir. This is one province that has not been in control of them. Out of the 34, 33 are now said to be in control of the Taliban. The recent offensive that was launched on Friday night, it is continuing. We saw that initially on Friday night there was a miscommitment on the truce that was done on last Wednesday, and with the Taliban attacking Kapisa province, and then they were resisted. Day before yesterday, we saw a fresh offensive being launched on the province of Panjshir by the Taliban, and that had resulted in casualties on both the sides, with at least 5 to 8 Taliban members, as what independent sources have been verifying, were killed, whereas almost the same number was on the Panjshiri side as well. Now, just a while back, Taliban sources tell me that they have sent reinforcements and tanks as well in order to capture the province of Panjshir, and that they are progressing, they are marching towards the province of Panjshir. Additionally, that they are trying to get through inside the province of Panjshir, and the claim of having overrun the Shuttle district as well. That is the gateway to Panjshir. This is a claim for now. It has not been independently verified. We're seeing that both the sides are putting up exaggerated numbers on figures of casualties, but independently, the situation remains very dicey. It remains very grim, with the Taliban launching a renewed offensive on the province of Panjshir.
Now, before this, we had reported on this as well. Serious bloodshed had been avoided so far as the two sides attempted in negotiations. Now we're hearing these reports. What do you think? How do you think the situation will evolve going forward?
Well, there were negotiations that were ongoing. We had previously reported, as I said, last Wednesday night in Charekar, that is the provincial capital of the province of Parwan. We saw that a 12-member delegation from Panjshir was in contact, had negotiated rather, with a 6-member delegation of the Afghan Taliban. The 12-member delegation from Panjshir was being led by Basir Salangai, whereas the Taliban delegation was being led by Maulana Torabi. Maulana Torabi was the Peace and Justice Minister during the Taliban rule about 2 decades ago as well. During those set of negotiations, they had agreed to not attack each other's posts, but that commitment was soon broken, at least independently what sources tell me, on the hands of Taliban, when they decided to move towards Panjshir, and then we saw a clash at Kapisa as well, which resulted in the death of at least 8 to 10 Taliban men. The Panjshiri side had claimed that they had killed over 300 Taliban men, but it was a claim, and independently the verification was for about 8 to 10 people, and almost the same number on Panjshir, of casualties on the Panjshiri side as well. Then on the night of 30th, we saw that the negotiations were not going forward. They were supposed to hold a second round of negotiations on Friday, a day after the Kabul explosions had taken place, but they were delayed until Saturday due to the Kabul explosion that took place on Thursday evening. But clearly, with the attacks from the Taliban's end, it made it clear that these negotiations are going nowhere, and that is the reason we saw that Taliban launching a fresh offensive on the night of 30th of August. It's been 3 days since this fresh offensive has been launched. The Panjshiri militia is trying to push back the Taliban from the gates of Panjshir itself. We've been seeing claims and counter claims, but independently, what sources tell us that there is a pushback that is being received by the Taliban as well. Panjshiri militias are resisting, but at the same time, the Taliban are adamant, rather keen on taking over Panjshir by hook or by crook or by force, and that is the reason we're seeing reinforcements after reinforcements being sent into Panjshir. Hey.
I was just going to come to that. Ahmad Massoud is leading the resistance in the Panjshir Valley. Are there any contingency plans now that the Taliban have sent their reinforcement and they are so determined to take over the province?
There are prima facie, it doesn't look like that there is a contingency plan, at least prima facie. When I say prima facie, it's because for the fact that the Panjshir is a surrounded valley by different other valleys as well. It has altogether, it has a different terrain. I've been there multiple times. It has a different terrain altogether. So the bigger problem would be to have supplies coming into Panjshir. We saw that the internet connection was cut off. We saw networks were turbulent as well around the area. Panjshir is also landlocked, so it cannot lead to any other border. It has a Tajik population, heavy Tajik population rather, and the minorities are about 5% of the total population that comprises of the province of Panjshir. So prima facie, it does not look like that there is a contingency plan. But yes, they've got stocks and stocks of ammunition. We've reported from there previously as well, earlier this month, early last month, in fact, before Kabul and Afghanistan fell into the hands of Taliban. So at least prima facie, they've got stock. They have ammunition and other things stocked, but the Taliban know that these stocks won't last for long. Hey?
Right, Anas, thank you so much for joining us with all the latest updates on that. We will, of course, continue to report on this as and when the situation develops. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.